Would you like to get unstuck? Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Have you been praying for years for your spouse to become a radical believer in the Messiah? Year after year after year goes. Have you got a death sentence from a doctor, an incurable disease, and you're praying and nothing seems to be changing? Have you got children that are rebellious and you're praying year after year after year? Someone's saying right now, yes, Sid, that's me. Well, my guest is going to help you get unstuck. His name is Dave Hess. And Dave, never in a million years would you go to get flu-like symptoms checked out in November 1997. Mm-hmm. And what did the doctors say? In their opinion, it had advanced too far.
It had advanced very far. My gums were bleeding. The whites of my eyes had become discolored. I was bruising. If I lightly bumped anything, a bruise would appear on my body. And my ability to fight any kind of flu or infection was...
How did his voice sound?
His voice was calm and confident. And the way I've described it is, it was like a roaring peace went through my soul.
You needed it because you were in confusion, you were in fear. Your family didn't even know this.
They didn't know.
But, interesting enough, God wasn't shocked because he received a prophetic word from a young man. How old was he?
He was about 8 years old.
8 years old?
8 years old.
Okay, so, and you told me that you looked like he was hesitant to give it to you.
Yes.
Because it wasn't a good word.
No.
But it was a good word. It wasn't a good word, and it was. Tell me about it.
We had received prophetic ministry, and it was very encouraging words, and we got up to leave the room, and this young boy said, "Sir, I have one more word to tell you." And he said, "Satan is about to make a grave tactical error. He's about to come at you and take you down a dark corridor. But," he said, "when you come out the end of the corridor, you're going to be strengthened, and what happened to you will be used to strengthen the faith of others."
Now, how long did they say you would live?
They had said,
"Honey, I have a month to live." What did you do?
Well, I'm a preacher, so I was trying to think of the right words to say on the way.
There are no right words.
There were no right words. And I got out of the car and walked up the front sidewalk to the house, and I still had no words. And when I got inside and saw my wife and my 3 children, I knelt down, hugged them, and I looked them in the eye, and the words came. And I said to them, "Daddy has cancer, but Jesus has Daddy." And the words came from him because I couldn't have thought those up at that time. My emotional state was all over the map.
Yeah, but you know what I think is so wonderful? Sometimes the spouse has a bigger problem than the person with the death sentence. And God was so gracious. What did he do for your wife, that supernatural sign?
He was faithful to her. As we headed into what we would later find out would be a 6-month process, I was in the hospital for 6 months during this treatment time and healing time. She felt as if a hand had been placed on the back of her head.
Was this 1 or 2 times, or what?
Cantu was Holy Spirit Hospital, I kid you not.
I know. I'll tell you, I'm laughing, but this was, Dave, this was no laughing matter.
No.
I mean, you had, even with these prophetic words, even with your wife having a supernatural sign, it had to be hard for you.
Yes. Yes, I have a new appreciation for what people walk through when they battle cancer. I had known it from a textbook side, I'd known it from a professional side, but
a hospital, he had had a couple prophetic words that made a big difference in his life, but as big a difference as these prophetic words made. Here you are in the cancer hospital. They say you have one of the most aggressive forms of leukemia, that it's really too late for treatment, but they're going to see. He gets healed. Dave is in the hospital, living his life as best he knows how for God, and he's dying. That plain doesn't sound fair to me, Dave. Didn't sound fair to you, I bet.
No, and we talked about this. God and I had some talks on this one.
I'm sure.
But what I did see,
Situation.
I was still there.
And you're getting pictures in your head, awful pictures. What were they of?
Well, often at night, 2, 3 in the morning, I, for some reason, couldn't sleep. And there in my room, one little light, a night light under my bed, no matter what may come my way, my life is in your hands. And I would sing that, and peace would come upon me. But that particular night, when I sang, the grief was greater than my ability to sing. And before long, I choked right in the middle of singing the song.
And a nurse comes in and did the most amazing thing.
The door opened to my room, 3 o'clock in the morning, and a nurse came in. I'd never seen her before. With the limited light in the room, I could tell that she was an African-American woman. But the thing that shocked me was she was singing the very song I had been singing.
So she heard you singing, obviously, in the hall.
I wasn't singing loudly at all. I was just singing barely enough
So
for
she
me to
couldn't.
hear it.
So how could she be singing?
No
that
one
song?
humanly could have heard me singing the song, but she came over, and when she sang it, she wasn't singing it like I sang it. She sang it to me, over me, into me.
Be in a cancer-free, in my opinion, conclusive proof that you had an angel that sang a song to you.
Yes.
I believe that the healing had to start at that point.
Oh, yes. Yes, there was
Well, I mean, when you got the note that someone saw this happen and described it,
the healing that came to me was to my body and to my soul. And they both went together. There was such a sense of the presence of the Lord right in the middle of the most difficult time in my life. And He continued to let me know that He was with me and wouldn't leave me, but that He was mighty and strong and powerful. And I felt that coursing through my body.
well, when you left the hospital, what did the doctor say to you? Because they said a month. They said it was too late. They said, let's do the chemo, but it's really too late.
Yes. 6 months after being admitted to this hospital, I walked out of the hospital cancer-free. One of my doctors said, you did receive a miracle.
Do you know what it said on the medical report? I'd be
Medical
curious.
report said, chemotherapy deterred the spread of leukemia in this patient's body, but God brought the healing.
You know, they had to say it.
Yes.
They had no chance. But you have learned about compassion.
Yes.
You have learned about love. How are you different? I know you're here. That's different. But how are you different in your soul, in your, in who Dave is?
Several things in my soul. One, I don't want to take any situation in life lightly. I don't want to treat any person lightly. We can treat people as machinery to get things done for us, or scenery just to look at from the surface. But every person has value, and my heart of love for people has only increased and continues to grow. The other thing that's changed is difficult situations come, and they continue to come. But there is a settled confidence in my heart. There's a trust in my heart that God's bigger, that what He promises to do for us is really true. And we had several things happen to us as a church, our home church in Pennsylvania, that changed how we've looked at trials. One of the things that happened is a young boy in our church was born with the most severe pigeon-toed feet we'd ever seen. They were almost facing each other and twisted. One night, while we were praying for people, he felt two hands go down on his feet and untwist them this way and then untwist them this way. And he came up to me and he said, he lived 12 or more years like that. He said, "Look at my feet. Look what happened to my feet. God healed my feet," and began to run back and forth in the church. And the people gathered around. And he said to the people gathered there, he said, "Look at my feet. They used to be this way." And he tried as hard as he could to turn his feet back where they were. And he looked up and he said to me, "I can't walk like I used to walk." And when he said it, it meant more than just his physical ability to walk. I heard that as a word from God to me. "David, you can't walk like you used to walk. I'm calling you to walk in faith. I'm calling you to walk in confidence. I'm calling you to walk in a place where you see that nothing's impossible with me." So
Nothing. Did you hear that? I'm calling you to walk in a place that nothing is impossible for me. So what about the people that are watching that have cancer, that have other diseases right now? I believe, oh, the presence of God. Did you just feel what I felt, Dave? Did you feel what I felt? The presence of God's just come into this studio in such an awesome way. I want you to pray for the people that are watching right now, and then I want you to sing that song that nurse/angel sang to you.
Okay, I'd love to do that. David said that the Lord is a fortress and we can run into him and be safe and be glad. He's wide open to you right now with all that you need. In this moment you're in right now, he's more than enough for you. Run into him. Run into him. I ask in your name, Jesus, I ask in your name that right now, every single situation that's facing our friends watching this program, that every situation would receive your presence and your provision. Cancer, go in the name of Yeshua. You have no right to these lives. Cancer, go. Go, go. Let despair go and fear go in the name of the Lord Jesus. And I declare this over you right now. I know that you can make it. I know that you can stand. No matter what has come your way, your life is in his hands.
And God is saying to you right now, you're concerned about what's going on in your life, but God is saying to you right now, I'm not shocked. If you would trust God more than what's going on in your life right now, you can make it. You can make it. Tell me about that woman that they wanted to abort the child.
Yes. A young couple, she was pregnant, and the little girl in her womb had developed a disease called echogenic bowel syndrome, where the entire bowel cavity becomes like a bone and it fills up with marrow. And their doctor told them that if they would try to have this child go full term, the child would die either in the womb or right after birth. And they said they sought the Lord, and he said, "No, I've given this child to you." The doctor refused to take care of them unless they had an abortion, so they had to look for another doctor. Found a believing doctor who stood with them. He took an x-ray. The echogenic bowel syndrome was still there. They had prayed. They thought it was gone. They were so disappointed when they got that next x-ray. They continued to